G'day everyone, welcome back. Season 2022 is upon us. Welcome to Roo Hammer and our first live show, first live webcast for Season 3. Can you believe that? And thank you everyone for joining us as we embark on this new season of Roo Hammer. Very exciting. And speaking of exciting, Hammer, how you going, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's great to be back. We were having a bit of a chat last night saying... getting ready for tonight, and it's like it's going to be like 43 weeks of Roo Hammer every Wednesday night. So there's going to be plenty of content this year, mate. I had a good break. I didn't have a holiday as such. I worked through Christmas and New Year period, but got a few days away with you a week and a half ago, getting up to Queensland, which was great. How was your Christmas break, mate?
Yeah, mate, Christmas was pretty good, just with the family and everything, fairly quiet affair. Unfortunately, it all kicked off immediately in the new year, got a bit of COVID in the household. Unfortunately, my wife, Cleo, caught it. I was lucky enough to escape it as long as the kids, so that was lucky. But so a bit of a setback there, which was the reason why, unfortunately, we couldn't get onto that Marvel episode. But we'll talk a bit more about that later. But yeah, other than that, we've been okay. And so just very happy to be back. Yeah. And I especially want to acknowledge our wonderful Patreon subscribers, whose awesome support enables us to upgrade our visual presentations, you can see here with the restream, and bring you the best Warriors content and the guests that you'll enjoy so much. And speaking of guests, we are very fortunate to start the season with a huge guest.
We are, mate. Yes, we sure are. But before we do, I just want to acknowledge the passing of two great legends of the game. Sad days in rugby league. Yesterday, we lost the Rugby League world mourned the loss of one of the four original immortals of the game in Johnny Raper. Passed away at the age of 82. Johnny played 222 New South Wales Rugby League games as they were known back then. Won 8 premierships with the Dragons, and he played 39 tests for Australia. And it's with a heavy heart that we also farewell a legend of New Zealand Rugby League, the Big O, Austin Filipana. Lost his long-term battle with illness today. Austin was a pioneer of Pacific Nations Rugby League. He's been an inspiration to generations of young Pacific Islanders, Māori and New Zealand Rugby League players for the past 4 decades. He played 109 Nrlw games, or New South Wales Rugby League games, for the Balmain Tigers, 82 for the Tigers, 18 for the Bears, and 9 for the Eastern Suburbs Roosters, and represented the Kiwis in 28 tests. Mate, as a young Kiwi kid growing up, Olsen Hill's a powerfully built athlete, best remembered for his attacking his bump off of players and his 3-step toe-poking style of goal kicking. And I was very fortunate to know Olsen personally, growing up around North Ryde, where Olsen lived. He was our Garbo in the area. And then, here it is, all these years later, the last 12 months I've been working with him at the same waste management company. Our deepest, our thoughts and prayers and our deepest heartfelt condolences go out to both John and Olsen's families, and may they rest in peace.
Exactly. I echo those thoughts, and I was a little bit too young to see those guys actually play, but their reputations preceded them. Johnny Raper obviously was known as one of the greats to lace up a boot, and the Big O was a bit of a trailblazer, wasn't he, for Polynesians coming into the NRL. I always hear about his test match getting picked out of reserve grade from Balmain and schooled Wally Lewis in that test match. So, yeah.
Yeah, very sad.
Rest in peace.
Mate, we'll get him on with the show. Why don't you add our guest to the chat while I introduce him to our followers? Yes, last season, our final interview last season was with the 2021 NRL Premiership winning coach and former Warriors coach and Warrior 73, Ivan Cleary. Unfortunately, towards the end of what was a very entertaining chat, Ivan's phone battery died, and we were unable to get him back in time. We're very fortunate and extremely honoured that he's agreed to return tonight to answer those fan questions that we weren't able to ask him last time. Welcome, Ivan Cleary. Hey, mate, thanks for joining us once again.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It's my pleasure. I'm sorry about the phone. I'm going to blame my kids for stealing my chargers all the time.
Doesn't that always happen? Isn't that always the way?
Like odd socks chargers, man. They just disappear. I don't know.
Definitely relate. Like, thanks for coming back on. We really appreciate that. And you've now joined an elite, rare group of two-time guests on Roo and Hammer. So no doubt the biggest highlight of your career so far.
That's why I made the battery die, mate.
Yeah, that's it. You just want to drag it out.
Yeah.
Understandable. But we are going to take advantage of a rare opportunity and maybe pick your brain a little bit, if that's okay. Last time we had you on, we asked you about the Premiership win. So what was it like returning to pre-season as the reigning premiers?
It wasn't all that different, really. I guess because we played in the grand final second year in a row, you start pre-season a little bit later, which is the first thing. But, I feel like all our boys came back, had a good rest, and really keen to get back into it. You still have the same challenges, the same feelings about excitement about what's ahead of you. Everyone starts on zero, so we still feel like we've got so much to improve on as individuals and as a team. So it's not a whole lot different, to be honest. It is good getting back together though. Like to have that experience was so cool, and just to get back together again, probably the first time that we had. Really, it's nice.
Did you get time to get footy out of the brain and really unwind and enjoy the time away from the game, or is it always just festering in the back of the head there?
Yeah, it does. It definitely festers a bit. There's always something, and it feels like the longer I do this job, the more it is, 24/7, 365 days a year. So there's always something going on, especially with recruitment these days. That's just a non-stop machine, and the more successful you are, the more that is the case. But I got away a bit. Had some. Actually got a jagged at Byron Bay with no one there for a week with my wife.
Nice.
It was like this sweet spot of like borders not opening and no one traveling, and it was just insane. So we're just walking around. There's like no one around. You go into any restaurant you want, any bar. Like waves are pretty good up there. It was just there. So I got to just killed it there. That was awesome.
Are you a surfer? But growing up as a Northern Beaches boy, are you a surfer?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like to surf. Getting a bit old and slow, mate, but I still love it. So whenever I get the chance, I definitely. And it's one thing that not only clears my head a bit, but it's my creative time. I got some really good ideas out in the ocean for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think they're good ideas anyway. I don't know.
They seem like it at the time. Yeah. When did pre-season commence for you guys? And without giving away any of your secrets as a premiership winning coach, did you approach this pre-season differently, or was it just business as usual?
I think everyone's a little bit different. Your team changes. Our team's changed. I think with 5 guys out of the 17 from the grand final aren't with us. So new team, new challenges, and the game evolves. So they're all a little bit different, but we learned a bit last year. We had a short pre-season with the competition stopping for COVID in 2020. The competition, the whole thing finished a month later. So we learned how to do a pre-season, a short one last year. So that's been good experience for us this year because it's kind of the same. And then with COVID, there's another layer of there's just not a lot of time this year, so you got to make every day count. So that was a good experience. But look, every year is a little bit different, and that's sort of how we're taking this one as well.
Mate, just I don't know if this is a touchy subject, but rugby league is as much a business as it is a sport. During the off-season, it was announced both Vili Kikau and Api Coruscant will be leaving the Panthers for the Bulldogs and the Tigers, respectively, in 2023. Players signing contracts with rival clubs 12 months out. I know it's part of the game, but as a fan, it really frustrates us. As a coach, is it frustrating for you as well?
I'd prefer if it didn't happen, but I'm also glad those guys both not only they both wanted to stay, so that's really cool. I think it pretty much shows that the only reason they were leaving is because we just couldn't compete, and we don't have unfortunately, values of our guys have all gone up, and yeah, so that's just life. I definitely think it's a problem in the game because it's now it's actually commonplace.
Yeah.
Like it used to happen, but it was pretty rare. Now it's just, if you're coming off contract, like in say season 23, you're pretty much off in 22.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I just feel like, and for fans, I mean, that's got to be really tough, I think.
Yeah, well, we're going through it now with Reece Walsh. Like, the ball hasn't even been kicked this season, and already there's speculation that Reece Walsh is unsettled and wants to leave the Warriors and is looking for an exit. So, yeah, we're used to it as fans. It's frustrating, but, yeah, we acknowledge it's part of the game. It's not
I just think we can. I just think as a game we can. I just don't see why we can't get a transfer or transfer windows going. Yeah. I think I just think it works so well in other sports, and sometimes you get forced into having to do these things. I think it's probably now is one of those times. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously, though, despite the fact you do lose some players with that junior nursery and the pathways in place at Penrith there, you'd have to have some quality kids coming through that can fill those voids in the roster.
Yeah, it's hard to fill voids of the two boys you mentioned, but yeah, that's our mandate at the Panthers. Very similar to what it was at the Warriors when I was there. It's definitely how we do things. We try and we grow our own. If we can't grow them in certain spots, then we'll go to the market. But we can't. Yeah, we're just trying to hang on to what we got at the moment. So it's definitely really important to get some of those young boys coming through and probably a little bit quicker. So it puts a bit of pressure on us as coaches and developing a system that's going to hopefully fast track guys. But development's a weird thing. You just can't. Not every player's the same, and you can't speed up time sometimes. But it's just a challenge for us. We just have to find ways. I think the Melbourne Storm should be. They're a pretty good benchmark of watching players disappear and they find a way to still be competitive, and that's the challenge ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, I recently flew up to Queensland and visited Rob for a couple of days, and we were at the Redcliffe base of the Warriors, checked in on the Warriors, and a few of the boys were going through isolation at the time due to COVID. And I think it's something we have to get used to navigating through now. How's it affected the Panthers in the off-season?
Yeah, we had a bunch of players and staff get COVID. I was one of those. So it was probably if you got it during the break, the 2-week Christmas break, that was a good time to get it because you didn't miss any training. So yeah, I actually missed a few days. I couldn't go back to work, so I was like, that was weird. So I was getting on the old Zoom meetings, which I'm sure they don't listen to me, so I don't say too much. But we've got a few guys miss some training and that, but not everyone. But I'm sure, as you said, it's gone through. Yeah, everyone, and it's just, as I said, in a pretty short preseason, and everyone's so keen to, make every day count. It's a little bit of a setback, but it's life. So yeah.
As fans, we haven't really seen anything of how the Nrlw will deal with the COVID situation during the season, but we assume, and you can probably confirm, that there's ongoing conversations and directions between the Nrl and clubs.
Oh yeah, but I think look, you've only got to look at the government. I think, and there's just changes all the time, and everyone, you just try to be fluid and roll with it. And I think the NRL is probably in a similar position. I think all they really want is to make sure that they're still getting games on every weekend, and they'll make sure that happens. But it's just you just got to be really adaptable. Every club, every player, and the game. I don't know what else you can really do. So.
Peter Volandes always seems to have his finger on the pulse.
If there's a dollar to be made, he'll work it out, I'm sure.
I'm sure he will. Mate, I caught up with Warrior 30, Mark Horrow, for a coffee on Saturday. He's now part of that Panthers Jersey Flegg coaching staff. Must be great to have someone who has a huge background in pathways and development involved at the club at that level, and someone with strong ties to the Māori community for those young Polynesian boys coming through the systems as well. Yeah,
absolutely. He's got a great new set of teeth too. I don't know if you know.
He does, doesn't he?
Sensational.
He was smiling.
The old footy players. Look, Mark's been around actually our club for quite a long time. He was one of our original Panther House.
Yes.
parents. So that's been such a success over the years for our club. We've had so many kids come through there they come from, actually a few out of New Zealand. James Fisher-Harris is probably our most notable.
Yep.
Corey Harawira actually went through there, another one. But heaps of kids from the country, and I think like something like 17 first graders through that house. And Mark was and his wife were the sort of pioneers of that. So yeah, he's been around our club for a while. Stoked to have him in and around, young fellas. Had a real good chat to him the other day. He's just so happy to be there and with so much knowledge, as you said. And really good footy family, which is what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Season 2022 kicks off in just over 2 weeks. So how's the side tracking for your season opener against Manly?
Yeah, pretty well. As I said, we're probably going off last year's preseason, in terms of the length and shoving it all in a short space of time. But we managed to have success out of that. So we're hoping that we follow along the same lines. But in the end, you don't really know until you start playing. So I feel like it's going okay. But I'll talk to you. I'll tell you in about 6 weeks. See how we're going then.
Done. We'll get you on for your third round. Will Nathan be right to play, or will Warrior number 255, Sean O'Sullivan, possibly be making his club debut at the Panthers?
Yeah, well, we're quietly confident Nathan will be right, but we won't be pushing him either. So we won't really know until probably a week or two before the game when he really, gets every test done. And Sean's actually going really well. Great to have a Penrith boy back. As you mentioned, he's been at the Warriors, been at the Broncos, Roosters, so he's been in some really good systems, and he's come back and he's a real footy head, Sean, and tracking really nicely to be that backup for Nrlw, which will happen in Origin and whenever else, hopefully not too often. But and he's also more than capable of filling in for Jerome Nrlw as well. So really glad to have Sean, back in Panthers colours. Yeah,
absolutely. He came through that system there at St Pat's at Blacktown too, so which is a pretty strong rugby league school.
Yeah, he actually captained the winning SG Ball team for Panthers. Guys like Brian Toto and Mitch Kenny are in that team, and so a good connection. And he only really had to move because probably the two blokes in front of him at the moment. So.
Yeah, just give me a message. Send me a message that week of round one, mate. I've got nothing locked in on Supercoach as my halfback, but if he's not playing, it's $860,000 that it's just going to be wasted in that first round. So just give me a heads up on it, mate.
Just remind me. I'll let you know. I'll put it on Instagram.
Have you got Instagram?
No, I don't. No social media for me.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
Smart man.
Yeah, smart man. It gets you in trouble. Okay, mate, we'll get to those fan questions and comments that people sent through the last time. They've been sending them through for the last couple of weeks since we announced you're coming back. I do apologise. There's going to be a strong Warriors flavour to a lot of these questions, and they're unedited.
We don't apologise for that, mate. We don't apologise for the Warriors stuff.
No, bring it on. Actually, I've got to let you know. We're going to go back to social media. When I was at the Warriors, there was I was getting these weird things on my phone from Facebook. I didn't really know I didn't understand. I didn't really know what was going on. Anyway, I had my own page on Facebook, and it was titled Sack Ivan Cleary, and I was a bit worried. There was a lot of followers on there, so that's probably why I've never got on it.
Mate, that doesn't sound like Warriors fans at all, mate. That's never our go.
I'm telling you, mate. Some of the Warriors fans out there, they're special. Yeah. Okay, first question is from Drake Chris, and he says, you have now won a premiership as a coach. The ultimate challenge now is to coach the Warriors to one. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I must say, when I was fortunate enough to be the head coach of the Warriors, 6 of the best years of my life. It was a real passion and real drive for me and everyone just to be that first team, that brings the premiership home to New Zealand. Obviously had a chance as a player as well and missed out, and then as a coach. So I'm pretty happy where I am, I must say. But you know what? I would love nothing more than see Warriors win a premiership, and I don't care who it's with, to be honest. That's something that I'm sure is driving all the Warriors fans and the management and everything, and be so good for the game too. But just so many fans back there that I've seen and know well, and just seen so passionate and so loyal. I'd love to see those guys, get that enjoyment.
Yeah, that would be awesome. From Victor Kiwi. Ivan, as a fan, you're one of the humblest I've witnessed. Can you give an insight on Gus Gould? Was he too outspoken? Was he pushing the boundaries of reality? And was he hard to deal with as a head coach?
Oh, man, you got to do a whole episode on this. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, Gus Gould taught me more about rugby league, and it was daylight second. Like an unbelievable, just well of knowledge, incredibly, smart guy, great footy guy, loves the game. Did so much for me as the player, and pretty much helped get me into coaching. Didn't end that well, I must say, but he just knows so much. And as I say, there's so much of my coaching now that he's definitely responsible for. So I think he finds it difficult to sit back and just not coach. I think he's deep down, he's still a coach and sees stuff and wants to. So that's potentially always maybe an issue. I don't know, but anyhow, he did so much for me. I'll be forever grateful for it.
Yep. From Drake Chris again, he says, you have now coached 4 talented halfbacks in Stacey Jones, Sean Johnson, Luke Brooks, and Nathan. Do you coach them all the same and build the same game plans, or build your game plan around them? And also, do you wish you got to coach Sean Johnson for more than one season?
I'll answer the last question first, because I was going to go into that anyway. Absolutely. I wish I coached him longer. Yep. It was a real shame in many ways leaving when I did, but Sean was obviously just getting started, and just talk about talent, and he continues to show that. So good that he's gone back to the Warriors. I think that's so good. That's awesome. Stacey was only 1 year. I played with Stacey at his best, so that was an incredible experience. It was great that he came back and played one last year, but again, it was only 1 year. Brooksy, same thing, a little bit over a year. I haven't really had a lot with those guys. Luke got Dally M halfback of the year that year, so that was pretty cool. And obviously Nathan's only been a few years, but I've had a fair bit to do with him for a while. So the short answer is I don't like to put too much pressure on halfbacks, but I think they already get that. At the end of the day, it takes a while to learn the craft of halfback. Like Nathan's, he's only young, 24, but he's played 120 games, and he's only really in the last 12 months or so, 18 months, started getting it. The game slows down a bit for him, and he's obviously one of the real good ones. So I try not to put too much pressure on them and get them to stick to their strengths a bit, and perhaps try and get some other parts of the team to be functioning where it's not all on the halfback. But they all have their different strengths as well. So you can't just put them in one basket and say do this, do that, or play like Stacey Jones or play like Penrith Cleary or whatever. So it's a bit of mix and match, but I do like to. I suppose I'm just a little bit wary of how much pressure they get, or how much of the result hinges on them, which I think is a little unfair.
Just to follow up on that, I remember the vision of when Nathan made his debut, and the cameras kept cutting to you. I think it was at Penrith. You're sitting on the hill, had a couple of beers, and enjoyed watching him play. Was there any, when you were coaching before that, you left Penrith and Griffin came in and took over, was there any, did you feel under pressure that you had to give Nathan his debut, or were you just, as a father, you wanted to hold him back a little bit more? As a coach, you wanted to hold him back and you didn't think he was ready? How was that all transpiring for you at the time?
go back to the earlier question about Gus Gould. He actually did us both a favour by sacking me. Because Nathan ended up making his debut as an 18-year-old, and I can tell you the very, very little chance that I was ever going to debut him as an 18-year-old, unless there were people falling over left, right, and centre. So it was kind of it was good for us both that I wasn't there when he debuted, and by the time I got back, he was playing Origin. So and that's such a bonus for me that I don't have to worry about whether he gets picked each week. Yeah, that's straight away that the nepotism. That's where the nepotism starts. He's getting favoured treatment and stuff, which doesn't happen and isn't going to happen, or not in the near future. So that just makes it so much easier. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have done it if that wasn't the case. So when he first started, honestly, you're right. I had to have a few beers every time I watched him because I was so nervous for him. So I say that I was conscious of young halfbacks and all that, and then you're sitting there watching your son, live his dream, and then just think, oh man, you don't know what you're getting into either,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're an NRL player yourself, so you know the not so much as a halfback, but you know the pressures of making a debut, playing footy week in, week out, how tough it is, how hard it is, the step up from those, second tier competitions and so forth. So yeah, it's understandable that you're having a few beers there, mate.
Yeah, you're right about the halfback thing. I mean, I don't know that, and I've just seen it. I've just seen it so much of it, and it's okay. If he's played 250 games and he's near 30 years old or whatever, and okay, maybe a little bit needs to fall on those shoulders. But when they're young, oh man, it's just it's such an art and such a craft, and it just takes a lot of time to really get your head around, week to week as well. Every game's a hard game. Every team's targeting you, all that stuff. It's difficult. Yeah.
All thanks to Nat Wood and his screen mask got Nathan that tough resilience that he has.
Yeah, I think you could thank Nat for that for sure.
Well, a question here from Fiona Tate. Tate will go back to your playing days here. Was there a player you wanted to play with and never had the opportunity to?
Not really. I can't really remember. Probably Wendell Saylor, because I didn't like playing against him because he's so hard to tackle, maybe, guys like that. Gordon Tallis, probably would have liked to play with him rather than against him. Yeah. Yeah, but no, I don't really think of anyone. I play with enough clubs, so I play with a few. So,
Your thoughts on coaching rep footy? Will you do it? And this is from Stevie Williams. Sorry, will you do it? And what time in your career do you think it may come about?
Yeah, I haven't had much interaction with rep footy. I coached the Prime Minister's 13 in Australia up in Papua New Guinea under 215. So that was all right. That was fun actually. And then I was lucky enough to be assistant coach with the Kiwis in 2013 World Cup under Steve Kearney. Loved that experience. And it actually helped me, I must say. I think I got a lot out of that. Since then, I don't know. I haven't really. I just think when you're an NRL coach, it's just so more absorbing and.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think about it that much. But it, as I said, the only experiences I've had, I really enjoyed. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe if someone wants me, I don't know. I'll think about it.
Oh, mate, there'll be plenty. Question from Nigel Phillips. It's more of a comment than a question, but before you retire from coaching, we would love to see you back at the Warriors in any way possible, be it coaching or mentoring role.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a question, but I'm definitely interested in mentoring at some point. Yeah, I think people like halfbacks. I think young coaches. I feel like too many of them get tossed out too early. I just don't think it's almost unrealistic to think that a coach is going to come in as a head coach in the NRL, which you almost can't prepare for in some ways. Yeah, they need support. I had support. I was lucky. If I didn't have it, I don't reckon I would have made it through either. And yeah, they just so few guys get second chances, so I'm sort of passionate about that. I just don't like seeing young coaches that are definitely capable and come into a head coach job, and man, it is you just can't prepare like all parts of it. You just can't. It's just too, and you need support from above for all the hard times that are absolutely going to come.
Well, Cam George watches the show, so we'll make sure he puts that in his little notebook. 2025, talk to Ivan.
Yeah. The other thing is, man, I could live in New Zealand any day of the week. So I love it. I love the club. As I said, I'm very happy where I am too.
Okay.
We're talking about at least a couple of years down the track. That's all right.
It is interesting that you say that, because a lot of the guys that came through that era from like of success that we had, like 2001, 2002, 2003 as players, and then again like 07, 08, 9, 10 when you were there as coach, and 2011, a lot of those Aussie-based guys that we have spoken to have all said that the living in New Zealand was one of the best experiences that they ever had.
I can't see how you wouldn't think that, honestly. We went there, two young kids, I think like maybe 1 and 3 or something, around about that, and just loved it. Yeah, we travelled as much as we could. I just think it was easy, like lifestyle was easy, people are friendly, such a wide-ranging landscapes and stuff to see. Yeah. Love it. Yeah.
As an ex-player and coach, this is from Victor Kiwi. As an ex-player and coach, if you logged into the Warriors sheds, what's one statement you would say to the boys now, especially with them being away from home for so long?
Just be grateful that you're still kicking. You're still. I think the resilience out of all this will actually help them. May not feel like that all the time now, and that's easy for me to say, but I think I can only see good things when they finally get home. I just feel like it's going to be so cool, and they're going to look back and go, oh my God, maybe there'd be more. Just grateful for everything back home again. I don't know. Maybe the fans or the New Zealand public will be really grateful to have them back too. That would be cool.
I think that will be.
Yeah, but I mean, I would just say, hey, number one, you guys have done incredibly well. You should be proud of yourselves. The way the last few years have gone, and every time I see them, they all seem to be, very gracious, smiling. They absolutely have a crack every week. I just think, as a former Warriors guy, I'm really proud of them. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Question from Danny Tunapopo. Panthers of 2020 remind me of the Warriors of 2002, a team that performed way above expectation. Did you get that feeling yourself?
It's a little hard because I was playing and as opposed to coaching. A little bit, I suppose. I think probably in 2002 and 2001, we were definitely we were tipped to come last by everybody, and maybe 8. So that was like a huge shock. And I think we came back the next year feeling much better. We got so much more confidence, and I think we always felt pretty good about what we were going to do in 02. For the Panthers, 2019 was a bit of a dud year. We came 10th or something. Missed out the 8 by 1 game. Never really got going. And to go through that season and only lose 1 game in the regular season was, I think it was beyond anyone's sort of expectations. So there's some slight similarities. Probably a little bit more senior players in that Warriors 02 team. Old guys like me and Camp, guys like that. Whereas the 20 Panthers were pretty much all young. Pretty young, yeah. But really awesome memories of both years, definitely.
We caught up with Campo 2 weeks ago. He looks like he could still play.
Is that what he's telling you? He'd be telling you that, wouldn't he?
He did actually tell me he's 2 kilos lighter than his playing weight. So
he actually looks in. He looks in. Actually, I caught up with him. Yeah, had a coffee. I think when I was up there just after the season, and looks in incredible, Nick.
he does, doesn't he?
He thinks you're soft if you don't train, so he's got to make sure he trains every day. So
yeah. The other one is Tukes. We caught up with Tukes as well.
You see Tukes?
Oh,
mate, slim.
I haven't seen Tukes for a while, but I just hear about stuff he's doing and that. Like, what a legend! Talk about a fun guy to play with. Yeah, have you heard the story about when he was called out of the stadium after he's eating a pie? You got to heard that story, wouldn't you?
No,
I don't know that one.
Oh, so my first year at the Warriors, 2000. I was out injured most of the year, and anyway, that's when our reserve grade team was playing for Newtown. That was one of that was another Newtown franchise, or Anyway, Tukes had played on the day before, I think, and so they'd flown home, and anyway, they had to come they'd come and watch the game. Anyway, those guys would do like go in corporate boxes and say good day and schmooze and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, Tukes was in there having a pie. That was his recovery meal back in the day. And I think Terry Hermanson did his calf in the warm up, and it was like, you got a call, Tukes. Mate, go and get your boots. You're in. Anyway, he played out of blinder. So there we go. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Wouldn't expect anything less from Tukes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Full of nutrients he was, and just
But it's funny. They his partner Rachel tracked down his first NRL jersey, his debut jersey that he wore when he was at the Crushers back in 95. Was it, Rob? 95.
96. He made his debut in 96 against Western Suburbs. Yeah.
We've got a photo on it. I'll send you the photo. His whole jersey up. It looks like a blanket.
It's a tent.
It's a 3-man tent now.
It's a dead set tent, exactly. Yeah. And he's like, I can't believe we used to play in these. These now they're skin tight and
champion. Yeah.
He is a champion bloke. A question from Jay Harris. It's along the lines, and I don't expect you to answer because you already have, but any chance we can get yourself and the young Premiers after 2020? We'll already get control. So, yeah.
Well, it'd be on top of the list of other teams, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
We'll take that. We will take that. From Sean. If you could jump into a time machine and bring back one Warrior in their prime back for your current Panthers team, who would it be?
Ooh,
I reckon I know who to say.
Really?
I reckon I know.
Well, we've got a pretty good. We're a pretty young team. I'm going to have to say Campo because. Well, one, he was always good for a beer after the game, and also he was just just an unbelievable man for culture and hardness and winner, all that kind of stuff. I'd say Campo, otherwise he'll blow up.
I thought with Kurt Capewell moving on to the Broncos and Villy going next year to the Bulldogs, I thought you might have said Ali Lauatiti.
I was going to say Ali as well.
Oh, okay. I could probably fit him in somewhere.
He might get a start.
I reckon Manu on the wing wouldn't hurt either. So imagine that. Brian Toto and Manu. That'd be a pretty good double, wouldn't it?
It'd be
Two completely different body shapes and equally potent. That'd be an awesome wing combo.
Well, the front rowers wouldn't have to see.
I'd like to see Manu try and do some of those facial expressions that Brian does after he scores a try, though.
Yeah, so many great players, guys. That's a hard question. So, yeah.
From Lafster Sasaga, do you think Nathan's upbringing in Auckland helped him with his relationship with all the Islander boys at the Panthers? Because he acts like a hard-out Kiwi boy.
It probably does. Yeah, it probably does. I think that's one of the good things about leaving Australia and going to New Zealand is just being exposed to a different culture, and it is different. Certainly in rugby league terms, it was so different when I got there as a player, like just around the boys, and that it was way different to like an Aussie team, which is good, I thought. So yeah, I think it definitely would. Even the fact that he started playing rugby league in New Zealand, I think, it's just good grounding for him. When he got to Penrith, there's a lot of Island boys playing in Penrith, as you'd see from our current crop. So yeah, I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Question from Greg Spence. If you were still the Warriors coach, what position would you play Tohu Harris?
Ooh. Well, I better be careful what I say here because they might move him if I say something. Yeah, I'd play him on the wing. Yeah.
He's injured for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he's really good on the edge, I must say. I reckon, but I saw what he does in the middle is pretty good too. So I guess it depends what you. Yeah, I haven't looked closely enough at who they've got and who they haven't. But good edge back rowers are like few and far between. They're a dying breed, So, and I've admired him move from a distance for a long time. He's a great player. But I'm sure Brownie will work it out. Like just having him out there, back out there, is certainly going to help him for sure.
Absolutely. Follow-up question from Greg Spence. Did you have much influence in getting Elijah Taylor, Lewis Brown, Isaac Jean, and Jeremy Lattimore, and James Maloney all to the Panthers?
Yes, all except Jimmy Maloney. The others I did, yeah. I was coach. Yeah, actually got them all. So. Yeah, look, I think it's when you do a rebuild in particular, which I did at Penrith. It's nice to have people that you can trust and and yeah. So all those guys you mentioned, all have obviously different skill sets and all that kind of thing. But all were really valuable members of our little rebuild at Penrith, and hopefully they enjoyed the experience, and they all sort of went on to bigger and better things, and not just footy. Obviously, Isaac's just kicking ass in his life. So,
yeah, absolutely.
A question from the heartiest of Warriors fans, legendary TK Harris, who you no doubt would have met during your tenure at the Warriors. How did you feel at Sky City getting introduced by NRL 360 hosts Ben Eichen and Paul Kent, and all the Warriors supporters erupted with a massive cheer?
There's no reference to the year, so we're not sure when.
Yeah, not sure what year that is. If TK's watching, do you know what year that was?
Yeah,
wow.
TK is watching.
Yeah, well, I would have felt unreal. I would have felt amazing.
Yeah.
I would have felt extremely humbled. Yeah, I actually can't remember that. I think I can vaguely remember the sort of studio kind of thing that was set up, but I didn't know.
Was it maybe around the grand final time, 2011?
It might have been. But
Yeah.
NRL 360, NRL 360 hasn't been around for.
No, they haven't, have they?
They've been doing that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
And no one's played footy in New Zealand for 3 years, so it's probably going back to 2018 or 2019, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but I must say, anytime I come back and stuff, I feel really. I get some people that they're not very nice to me, so I'm very humbled and appreciate it whenever I get that.
TK has a follow-up question. He says, "Would you have played for the Kiwis if Gary Freeman had asked?" And it's an interesting question because I think you would have qualified to play only after 02 with that 3-year residency ruling. But interesting question nonetheless. Let's use hypothetical situation, and you've been there for 3 years. Would you have played for the Kiwis, or would you stay true to Australia?
Well, I think it's it's important to not embarrass the haka, and I think I probably would have done that. I mean, the whole country would have laughed at me.
I don't know. Did you see Jason? You ever saw Jason Nightingale do the haka?
And Nathan Feen, I've seen them both.
Yeah.
That is just, I can't answer that, honestly, because it never even looked like happening. If it did, I don't know. Yeah,
it could have happened because Brent Webb got his gig in.
Yeah.
And so you playing, if you hadn't retired at the end of 2002, you could have been in the running for a Kiwi jersey.
Yeah, I think it would have been one of those situations where, as I said, I haven't really thought about it. I hadn't even at the time. But if it happened, it'd be hard to say no. I think, it's such an honour, and you definitely feel, you feel like you're, you sort of become, part of your environment, and especially in New Zealand, it's got that same little way of I don't know, connection and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. We'll never know, but I would have been honoured, that's for sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. A question here from Joanne. You kind of answered this the last time you were on, but we'll ask you again anyway. Since leaving the Warriors, has there ever been an approach from the club to return as coach at any time between 2011 and now?
Yeah, no. When Mooks got the job, I remember last time saying I'd spoken to someone. I couldn't remember who it was, but I now how bad's my memory? I now remember who it was. It was the CEO at the time, Scottish guy. His name is
Jim Doyle.
Jimmy Doyle, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Jim. Yeah, we had a sort of brief conversation, but nothing much. Nothing. Yeah, didn't get too far, and Mooks got the job, but that was the end time.
And a question from Christian. What is your favourite coaching memory from your time at the Warriors?
Yeah, so many good memories. I think it's hard to beat the 2 wins we had in Melbourne, 2 big wins, 2008, when we finished 8th, and they were first by miles and hadn't lost Olympic Park in 2 years. And we, such an amazing day that was. And then in 11 when we beat them in the prelim down there. Yeah, so probably those 2, I reckon. Where they were just so hard to beat, and not only did we do it once, but twice in huge games. So
yeah,
it's amazing. Just back to that weight game. The question came through again. I think we probably asked you last time, but what were you thinking when Michael Witt delayed his grounding?
It's like time stopped. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, other than what are you doing? And then I'd forgotten all about it. We got down the sheds, and then I'm like, "Oh, mate, what were you thinking?" He goes, "Oh, I was trying to run the clock down." Half a second.
40 seconds.
Yeah.
40 seconds.
He wasted half a second.
Cameron Smith wallpaper was just about to come and kick it out of his hands.
Oh.
I wouldn't have been beauty, but. No, actually, honestly, at the time, I thought he had it covered. So.
I remember they cut after that happened. They cut to a vision of you in the coach's box, and you just had this look on your face, and it kind of brings back. You were obviously a great actor because it was kind of that same look you had in the final winter in your great acting role.
Yeah. Still getting used. Yeah.
All right, Ivan, I'm going to go through our rapid fire questions. We just started these last time before we got cut off. So I'm going to go through these twice. So the first time I ask these questions, it's for you as a player. The second time I go through, it'll be for you as a coach. So as a player, who was your toughest teammate?
Jeff Tuvey.
Campo's going to be upset.
Campo's... My toughest Warriors teammate was Campo. I've got to say too, so he's just ridiculously tough for a small man, and extremely angry. Yeah,
he's a little bit angry, isn't he?
Yeah, he was there's something wrong with him. He was that tough. I reckon.
Who was the best sledger?
That I played with, against, or with, or
with or against?
I'd say Ricky Stewart.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
have heard it said. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this one. Who was the biggest pest?
Biggest pest.
On or off the field, mate? On or off the field?
Yeah, I try and forget the pests. Probably Nat Wood.
Yes.
Yeah. That's who we thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your toughest opponent?
Oh yeah. I probably mentioned before. Of guys that are so hard to tackle and just like if they make a break, if you're playing fullback and they make a break, the least guy you want is probably Wendell, I reckon.
Yeah.
He was just so big and fast and had this massive step, and then he'd spray you too as he was running past you.
Oh, of course he did. Yeah, he'd let you know how he's going, didn't he?
Awful.
The big Dell.
Yeah.
Who was the most professional in regards to game preparation that you played with?
I would say probably Jason Taylor at the Bears. Yeah. Mind you, he only weighed about 40 kilos, so he had to do a fair bit of work to try and. He didn't do much in the weight room, I know that, but he used to, I never seen a guy kick more footballs and stretch and stuff. So
he was an Iron Man, though, wasn't he? He was an Iron Man.
Yeah.
Didn't he play something like 169 back-to-back games at first grade or something?
Yeah, he held the record at that time. I'm not sure how many it was, but he worked ridiculously hard. Yeah, and was, I think pretty much didn't touch a drop of alcohol in any season or something like that. Mind you, you better watch out when the season finishes.
I was going to say, didn't he get ejected from a cricket match or something one time?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, but if you haven't drunk all year and then you got a big slice of small man syndrome, you know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Isn't what happened with David Fa'alongo? Didn't David Fa'alongo put him on his ass at a
that's right. Yeah,
Rabbitohs. Yeah, when he was coach of Rabbitohs.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mismatch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Who was the best trainer that you ever played with?
Des Hasler. Yeah, Des was sort of senior player when I first came into Manly, and we used to do these in those days. All you did was run in preseason pretty much. You just ran and ran and ran. I reckon the coaches just rocked up and didn't have a plan, so they just make you run around the oval most of the time. So, and Des would be so far out in front from the rest of the pack that he'd just be doing his own thing really. And then by the end of the season, or end of when I left Manly, he pretty much just trained himself. Like, he was phenomenal. Like how fit he was, and how dedicated and how into it, and he was. Yeah, like he was as a player, he was like he wasn't the most skillful, and he was sort of in between positions, like halfback, lock, and play wherever. Yep. But they'd always pick him, and he'd pick him in rep games. He was just everywhere. Like he just looked the absolute most out of what he had. So yeah.
What about team comedian?
Brian Fletcher. Yeah. He's making a lot of money and a great career out of telling the same shit jokes and all that he used to do. Good on him. Yeah.
Who was the worst trainer?
We're already spoken about Tukes, so I'm not going to mention him. John Simon could be in that category, actually. Johnny Simon wasn't the best.
Simon?
That's a bit unfair. Actually, that's a bit unfair because Johnny had his moments. Like he just depend whether he was into it or not. Worst trainer. There's a guy called Noel Solomon at the Bears. A lot of people won't remember Noel. He didn't play that.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember him.
He ran a I think it was a level 6 in the beep test, which I'm pretty sure isn't faster than a walk, and then he stopped. That's the record, I think, from what I've ever seen. So.
I could TK's just mentioned that regarding that question about the fans going wild at Sky City. That was 2018 double header round when you were the Tigers coach.
I've forgotten that. Jeez, how am I going? Yeah. What a weekend that was. We beat Melbourne in Auckland. That was like. That meant I could go out after the game and have a good time in Auckland. So that was fun. They were the days. Yeah.
Yeah. They were
days. Awesome. Okay, so now as a coach, we'll go through the rapid fire questions. As a coach, the toughest teammate, well, I guess the toughest person, toughest person you've coached. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It would be hard to go past Michael Luck. Simon Mannering, probably those two guys. I mean, you have to throw in Ruben Wiki in that conversation as well, I'd say. Probably it's hard because there's so many guys, there's so many guys in different ways, different like just from our recent grand finals, some of the performances blokes did with injury, and that game was incredible. But yeah, I think probably sort of like underrated, overlooked kind of guy. Michael Luck was like never missed a training session ever. Didn't matter what was wrong with him. He was that committed and didn't want to let anyone down. He would train every day, play every game, every minute. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Who was the best sledger that you coached?
Probably Maloney, I reckon. He sort of did it. He wasn't like, or he wasn't doing it all the time, but when he did do it, he hit the mark. Yeah.
He did like to chirp on, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's so annoying. Oh god, he's so annoying too. So yeah.
biggest pest you coached?
Yeah, Jimmy, he'd be close. He'd be close because he's very economical, Jimmy, and he does what he needs to. So
yeah,
that gets a bit annoying at times.
Toughest opponent you coached against?
Like as a player?
Yeah, the toughest player. Like, yeah, as a coach, when you know you're coming up against them.
Yeah. Well, Cameron Smith would be up there.
Yeah.
Because he seemed to have an answer for everything you did. So he'd work it out at some stage during the game.
Yeah.
Probably nowadays, Turbo's right up there. Cody Walker's when he's playing well, he's really tough guy to match up against. So yeah, there's a few.
Who was the most professional in regards to game preparation that you've coached?
Isaiah Yeo's pretty good. He's very much a regimented kind of box ticker, if you want to call it that. Like, not, I don't think a lot of people would notice, but he needs everything's got to be done in a certain order and way and that kind of stuff. So I think his performances the last couple of years and just the consistency of it probably, explains a few things there.
Yeah.
Team comedian, the funniest guy in the team, in your team.
Our team now, Mitch Kenny.
Anything. Mitch Kenny.
Yeah, Mitch Kenny. So Mitch is a bit of a he does takes what do you call imitations or whatever, takes people off.
Oh yeah.
Impersonation.
Impersonation. He must have a lot of spare time because he videos himself doing it and that, and then just drops them in there.
Videos it.
Yeah, he's pretty good actually. He's not bad. Yeah, it's good value. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to check that out, mate, on social media.
I don't think I know if he does it. I think he just sort of does it amongst our gang. So.
Oh, okay.
Which is probably a good thing. Yeah.
Don't know if you want to answer this, but who's the worst trainer that you've coached?
Oh God, let me think. Sorry, Kristen, but potentially Kristen Inu. He might have been up there. He'd be in the top 5 anyway.
We kind of
we did get that impression.
Yeah, lovely kid, but unbelievably talented player. But let's just say he could get a little bit distracted when it came to hard work.
Yeah. Yep, I can understand that. Mate, I'm going to go through, because there's been a lot of questions being asked whilst we've been doing this broadcast, but there is one that I want to touch base. We reached out to a mate of yours, letting him know that you're coming on, and that is the lunatic, also known as Nat Wood, and he sent through a comment to us. In talking about the Campo, the story in regards to Nathan and the screen mask, the exact words he said is, Campo probably upped the story and probably put 75% of your audience to sleep. He said, I'm sure there is plenty of things I would tell you, but probably shouldn't. I think if you want some funny stories, just ask him about Fletch and myself together entertaining the whole club daily at the Roosters and the mad shit we used to do on and off the field, which you did intimate. And he says, I'm sure we would have been locked up, but living legends if mobile phones were around in the 90s. But he ends it, he goes, but for me on a personal level, Ivan and Beck were just my all-time favourite couple. During my career, they are just magnificent people, and I loved every minute of their company. So that's from your good mate, Nat Wood.
Thank you. That's very humbling and pretty accurate. I think I don't know about the last bit, but certainly about being locked up and stuff. 100% he would have been. Yeah.
Okay.
He should be on TV. He should be on TV with Fletch. Yeah, I reckon if him and Fletch got together, oh man, that would be entertaining. Yeah.
He runs his own personal training business now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's still fit as ever. Like talk about fit guys. Actually, like all the fittest. And that was like a ridiculously strong. Like power to weight ratio was nuts. He's very fit guy, strong guy.
Couple of questions coming through from Dave Stevens. Who is a footy journalist that you actually enjoy being interviewed by, apart from Roo Hammer?
Yeah.
Geez, I'm having to think, aren't I? When you do stuff with Andrew Voss, like stuff for the fan, which we do every year. So it's not in and around. It's not controversial, or it's cool talking to someone who loves footy as much as he does and is into it. That's good.
Favorite city or town in New Zealand that you visited?
Well, I have to say Waipu Cove. It's my favourite all-time place. But you just can't go past Queenstown. That place is incredible.
Yeah, picturesque, isn't it?
Yeah, so many things. I love Mount Maunganui. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. Yeah.
I could go on forever. Yeah.
I don't know if Sean James is stitching us up here. What's the most useless position on the field?
Useless.
Don't answer it, Ivan. Don't answer it.
Fullback.
Ted Clark asked, during your playing career, was there a time when you thought you had done enough to play State of Origin for the Blues?
No, never.
No.
No.
You wouldn't have been out of place, mate.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know about that.
On how good a player you actually were.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I troubled the selectors too often. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for that.
Yeah, you would have done the job for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe for Queensland.
Rob Taylor says, having won the Premiership last year as a coach, what would your coaching goals be this year for your team? I'd probably say win the Premiership. Am I right?
Yeah, no, I want to come maybe about 6th or 7th or something like that. Yeah.
You are a classy. What was it like to play against Darren Lockyer?
Oh, yeah, wow. What a player. Yeah, scary because I first started playing against Darren when he was fullback. And he had, that bloody mongrel Wendell Saylor on one wing, and he had ended up having Lottie Takiri up there.
What a team, eh?
He was that fast and had the step and and just a good bloke too, Darren Lockyer is one of those guys that just, humble but just awesome player and super competitive, by the way. And he hated losing.
Yeah,
great player. Yeah.
As a player, did you have any pre-game rituals or game day routines that you used to stick to and follow?
Yeah, only one. I had to. This is going to sound weird to the modern day player or anyone young enough. I actually had to polish my boots. Yeah, so number one, I had black boots. I know that's pretty weird, and they were leather.
Yep.
And it was a superstition of mine that I had to polish them, clean them properly, and they had to be, sparkling.
Did you ever Vaseline the seams of your boots as well? So if you're playing in the wet, the water didn't get in?
I used to use a product called Dublin, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just soften it up as well.
Yeah.
I think when I was pretty young,
you know that, Ivan. We're showing our age, mate.
Oh no, yeah. When I was pretty young, I kicked really badly when my boots were just covered in mud or something. When you go to training and wet, and you and then the mud all hardens up, and then I just put them on and kicked like had a shocker. And so from that day on, I always, every single game, I made sure I polished them. So that was more superstition than like a ritual. Everything changed when I had kids. By the way, on game day, it was just like
get everything in the bag and get out the door. Yeah,
you do your best. Yeah.
What was your most memorable moment in your career?
Oh, my debut. Yeah, it's just I was 21. So from the time you've ever remember watching footy or even possibly dreaming about maybe the chance of playing first grade, which was just a pipe dream, and then all of a sudden one day it's a possibility. That day where it actually happens, and you're playing, and I was playing with guys that were just like in the team I played with, like Ian Robertson, Michael O'Connor, and Cliffy Lyons, Darryl Williams, all these guys. I couldn't believe it. Des Hasler, like it was just I still remember I went to a 21st birthday after the game, and I was the first one at the party. I don't know why I got dropped off so early. I was the first one there, so I'm hooking into the free drinks straight up, and I was just sitting there, and I still I remember it like it's yesterday. Just couldn't believe what had just happened. Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
if you didn't do one more game, you'd be happy. That's how I felt.
Yeah, and we say that we do posts every day over the off season. We're kind of honouring all the players that have worn the jersey for the Warriors, and it's just that thing. Like some guys have played one game, some have played 301 games, but every single one of them, they achieved their boyhood dream of playing NRL footy. It's it's amazing. It is.
Yeah. That's why debuts are so cool. Because everyone in the room, like all the players that are playing or whatever, they all remember, like they're all the same. Everyone remembers their debut, and it's just such a special experience. And there's many things if you're lucky enough, to have a good career and go through a whole lot of great stuff. And that, I'm pretty sure most of them think back to that day, and it'd be up there, the highlights.
Absolutely. Who were your rugby league heroes growing up? Guys that you watched playing?
Well, on a sad note, you mentioned the passing of Olsen Filipina today. I was a Balmain fan, so I used to go and watch Olsen, in his heyday when he was playing for Balmain, and I was lucky enough to meet him through my association with the Warriors when we travelled over to Australia. A couple of times he come and talk. Such a good fella, great guy. Had family around Auckland, lots of families, lots of
everyone's related.
I just want to say, I just want to wish all those guys all the best. I'm sure it's a tough day. I was a Balmain fan. Growing up, my dad was a mad Balmain fan. He grew up in West Ryde, so not far from you, Hammer. So he was
correct. Yeah,
mad Balmain guy. He went to the '69 grand final, which is everyone raves about when they beat South, massive underdogs. And so 50 years for him to experience another grand final win for us when we won last year. That was 50 years apart.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. I was a Balmain fan. Used to go to Leichhardt with my dad. Started like late 70s. Guys like Wayne Pearce, when they ended up going well, like Paul Siren and Wayne Pearce, all those guys. I was at the grand finals in 88, 89 when Balmain lost.
Yep.
Dad cried, I think, in 89. So that was, but I also, as a Manly junior, I used to get down to Brookvale Oval, and Graham Eady was definitely a hero of mine down there. He was awesome.
Yep. I was actually born the day that the Tigers won that 69 grand final.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my affinity to Balmain. I was born on that day.
Yeah.
Mate, what are your hobbies or pastimes away from rugby league? You mentioned surfing before. Any others?
Yeah, I like to play golf and surf. If I could hang with my family, play golf, surf, and coach footy, I'd be pretty happy. Yeah.
You can do that coaching A grade. I don't know about as a first grade coach.
Yeah, well, they're building a wave pool out not far from Penrith. So
yes.
Yeah, because the waves aren't that good out here. So
They're going to do a new stadium at Penrith, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Is the Penrith Warriors game this season the last game that's going to be at that old stadium?
Nah, it's the Penrith Warriors game will be the first one back in Auckland. That's the plan.
That's right, it will do, yeah.
Round 15, which, I mean, let's hope for that because that would be nuts. Yeah. We're really pumped about that. I would love to be there for that game if that happens. That'd be sick.
They want to, they're trying to. Obviously, the New Zealand government are doing their best to try and get the borders open for that. That'll be massive.
How good. Yep.
No, but we play you guys at Bluebet Friday, the 26th of August. Is that
okay?
I think that'll be the last game at the old Bluebet Stadium.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, unless we can jag a home final, so then that's what. So hopefully it's not.
Well, mate, when you finish sixth, you won't get a home final. So.
You did? Well, actually, I had to correct you.
You do. Yeah.
That's why I want to finish sixth. Yeah.
I knew my research was right.
But you know what? It's one of those situations, and this has happened plenty of times. And all of the sports fans will have stories about new stadiums is really cool, and it's progressive, and it's going to be really good for the town and the community. But sad for the we love our little ground, and it's got this real charm of that suburban ground, and we love playing there. We've been had a really good run there too over the last few years. So we just cherish every game we play this year. Yeah, for sure.
As Warriors fans, we actually absolutely hate that field.
We loathe it.
We don't have very many good memories.
Nightmares.
I remember I was there for the game when we led 28-6 and got done 38-32.
Oh,
Remember that game?
Doesn't that just sum up the Warriors?
I was there that game. That was actually the Panthers were having a really bad run at that stage.
They were. Yeah, they lost a lot of games.
That was that was one of the most incredible comebacks you've ever seen that day.
We played them right back into form.
Yeah, Foster scored 2. Kieran Foran scored a good try, and then I was there when Jerome Luai made his debut and schooled Sean Johnson in a 44 to 4 draw. Yeah, mate, I've been there for a lot of bad performances from the Warriors, so we'll be glad when they rip that stadium down. Maybe we can make some new memories.
Yeah. What can I say?
If you didn't become an NRL player, what career path do you think you would have been in or chosen?
Yeah. Well, I went to university after I finished school, probably because I didn't want to work. I went, and I know I finished my degree while I was still playing. It was in land economics, so that was in property valuation. So I was heading down that path, and fortunately, I've never had to use it.
Lucky for you, eh?
So you weren't going to be an actor. Wasn't going to be an actor.
Yeah, be an actor.
Well, no, I wasn't going to be an actor. Well, let's say I would have been a hungry one.
I don't know. Those 2 minutes in that movie, mate. Movie making gold.
As I said, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my call.
It was on the other night, It was on TV the other night. Who was the biggest influence on your career?
Honestly, my wife.
Yeah.
Well, we got together when we were pretty young. I think I'd only just started playing first grade. Actually, the first time we went out, she paid the bill. We didn't have any money, so I knew how to keep her then. Yeah.
Kevin Campion's commented, "Have you lost your black dye for your ruck?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. If he had a rug, he'd be able to, dye whatever colour he wanted. Yeah. My wife, for sure, definitely. Yeah. She's been there though, literally the whole ride. So. Yeah.
What current player not at the Panthers would you love the opportunity to coach?
Oh man. Geez, there's so many. It's hard to say. And if I say anyone, there'll be rumours starting that we were trying to sign them. So
no one watches our show, so you won't get rumours.
yeah. Tell you what, the way Turbo played last year, it'd be pretty good to put your feet up in the coach's box. Just watch him run around.
Yeah.
He was like a great, lovely fellow, great family too. So, I don't know. Like, there's so many guys. Yeah, let's say Turbo.
Okay. Ivan, again, mate, we really want to thank you for coming on and chatting with us so candidly. It's always the last time you were on was quite funny. You could have been a stand-up comedian, I think, mate. You've got that deadpan comedy delivery. We definitely appreciate it as the head coach running NRL Premiers too. We know very busy man and in demand. But us as Warriors fans, we love being able to connect with our past players and give them a platform to share their stories. And we've been very fortunate to be able to connect with so many during the past 18 months. We do have a saying here on Roo and Hammer that those who have played for our club are forever and always. And you, Ivan Cleary, are forever and always Warrior 73. Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's very nice of you. And hats off to you for, being such awesome fans and spending your time, doing this and getting everyone together and getting that connection going. It's awesome. I think you're doing a great job. I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
really appreciate
and
it.
just personally from me, our rugby league journey actually goes back a long way. I got into rugby league at the relatively late age of 12, and the very first game I watched was the game Manly versus Cronulla in 1993. And the very first game rugby league I watched in Perth, and you scored the first try in that game. So I've always remembered your name. Your outstanding contribution to our club as both a player and a coach will never be forgotten by any of us fans, and we're eternally grateful. And you are forever etched in Warriors history. It's been a privilege and an honour, and we sincerely appreciate you giving up your time, as Hammer said, in this very busy period. And finally, as a lot of people have already said tonight, but I'll say it again, we hope there is another twist in the tail of the Cleary Warriors Association somewhere down the line, and maybe one day you'll return home in some capacity. But for everything, for giving up your time, we sincerely thank you.
Thanks, guys. You're too nice. Thanks, guys. And to all the Warriors fans out there, good luck this year. I'll be rooting for you guys.
And we wish you all the best with your goal of getting that 6th spot on the list year, mate. We really hope it happens.
I wish I didn't say that. I feel like there's going to be some sort of the stars might start aligning. Just to get around. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Ivan. Appreciate it, mate.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Ivan. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. What a champion, eh?
Absolutely great fella. Enjoyed every minute of chatting with him. Like, as I said, he's just such a unique figure in our club. Player, coach, he's been assistant coach. Just the Cleary association with the Warriors is very strong. And as I said, let's just hope that, the stars align one day and he returns back to us as a coaching mentor. There you go, the scoop.
Well,
coaching mentor.
We've got one man has returned home to the Warriors, hasn't he? In
prodigal son.
That commented before. Kevin Campion, he's back in the Warriors fold, doing some stuff with the pathways and stuff, isn't it? That he's involved in now.
Yes, I believe so. It's great. There's no better guy to have involved in the club than someone with his experience and toughness. And let's just hope some of that 2002 spirit, rubs off on the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking to Campo the other way, he's chuffed that he's back in the fold. He's a good man to have around the club, that's for sure. We love him. Good friend of ours. Mate,
great bloke, him too.
Yeah. Bit of an update on what's happening with us now.
Yeah, exactly. So we have now registered as a proprietary limited company, which is very exciting. We felt the time was right for us to take this next stage in terms of our growth, and even better, it enables us to engage sponsors, support charities, and sell merchandise, which I know a lot of you guys are very keen for. And we're in the process of organising that as we speak. It's getting produced. We've met with the great man Daniel Pretorius from Torius Printing, yeah, shout out to you, mate. It was his birthday a couple of days ago. So, yeah, cheers, Daniel. And there's some exciting things to come.
There was a Daniel Pretorius that did a birthday, though, and he let us know.
That's right. Very nice of him to let us know that we had the wrong Daniel Pretorius. But anyway.
There's just a comment that's just come through from Callum McGill. He says, how can a fan-produced show get an interview with the current NRL Premiership winning coach? I'm really impressed. Far out, guys. Thanks, Callum. Hard work. That's how it happens. Hard work. Perseverance. We're very fortunate, mate. We're very fortunate that they're fans of the club, that the ex-players are so appreciative of, the recognition that we give them, and they're all very giving of their time, including the current NRL Premiership winning coach. He's no different. So yeah, we're very thankful. We pinch ourselves pretty much every day that we're in the position that we're in. We don't take it for granted, and we work very hard to get these interviews with these players and ex-players and bring them to you guys so that you can share in their journey. So, and we'll keep it coming. We'll keep it happening.
We've been very fortunate enough to, as you said, to connect with these guys and form some good bonds and mateships with some of these fellas, and it's a dream come true for us, and to be able to talk to these guys, it's just as much a buzz for us as it is for you guys. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
and glad that you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
Also, too, as I said at the beginning of the show, I headed up to Queensland about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. Around Australia Day, I think it was. I headed up there. My oldest daughter lives up there, so got to visit her. But family connections aside, my whole purpose of going up there was to catch up with Rob, and to also go to the Warriors Redcliffe base, training base, and have a visit. Thanks so much to Jace Fittis and Emily Rackham, who spent so much of their time that morning showing us around the facilities, giving us a good insight into the setup that they've got there for the Warriors. It's an awesome setup. It's not Mount Smart, but it is a home away from home for the Warriors this year. The players have all either purchased or rented properties in Redcliffe, in or around Redcliffe, so they're not living in that hotel environment anymore. They're getting some semblance of normality and normal life. They're not living in each other's pockets. And as a group, they're looking very fit. They're looking very fit, switched on, and they're looking very focused. They definitely want to get home to New Zealand, but getting back some semblance of normal living has the squad very, very settled, in complete contrast to what the papers are reporting about people being unsettled at Warriors Base. But yeah, the squad looks fit. AFB and Lodge, they're leading the way in most of those drills. Jazz looks super fit. As
so lean. Josh Curran as well.
Yeah, Ben Murdoch was Zilla.
8 kgs down, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he hasn't started. He only just started running training on that day. He's had foot surgery, so there is a couple of guys tracking injuries on their way back. BMM's one. We got to speak to Tohu. He's tracking quite well. Reckons he should be right in and around round 10, which would make him hopefully there for Magic Round. Aaron Penne, one impressive human being.
Oh, massive man. God. He's one of the biggest men I've ever seen.
Absolutely. If you haven't seen the photos that we shared on Facebook and Instagram, go and have a look at the photos from our visit 2 weeks ago. The man is a monster. He's my tip to be the breakout star for the Warriors this year, Aaron Penne.
And what about the evolution of the front rower?
Yeah,
this is the modern day front rower. One of his abs almost took my eye out. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. But even Lodgy and
Lodgy, huge, massive,
big men,
massive human.
So fit, so agile, big motors. I was glad I went up there and got a look at the boys. I won't get to see them now until round 1. But yeah, all things pointing for a big season for the boys. I know we say it every year, but 2022 is our season, I think.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
We'll give a shout out. Follow-up question.
Follow-up question. Which former players do you have?
We will get to that.
Well, we're about to get to that. But speaking of former players,
Yep.
we just want to give a shout out to Big Tooks and Kevin Campion, who we were honoured to have a charity event. We attended a charity event when you were up here, mate, at Mudgera Bar. That was organised by Tooks and his partner, Rach, for a wonderful cause, fundraising event. It was a fantastic evening and, very enjoyable. And as we mentioned before, Tooks was presented with his very first Crushers jersey, understandably emotional to receive that. We're honoured to be there.
Yeah, we've got that video up on our socials if you want to go and have a look at that. Quite an emotional moment for Tooks. He had no idea that it was happening, and Rachel searched far and wide for the good part of the last 12 months trying to find that jersey.
She's done an amazing job.
Originally was going to present it to him at his when they get married later in the year, but thought it was a great opportunity to do it on that night. And just a special shout out to ex-Warriors who are now Titans. Tasman Gray, Crystal Tamarua, Georgia Hale, Karina Brown, Brianna Clark and Shania Power all played at the Warriors in that 2020 season, who are now Titans. I went over and watched the Titans Nrlw train. Also caught up with Spencer and Carmen Taplin, who a lot of the Warriors fans will know, similar to what Ivan was talking about Mark Hotto doing that, running the parent house. Carmen and Spencer did that at the Roosters and also at the Warriors, bringing a lot of these young players through. And also got to catch up with 2020 NRLW coach and current Jillaroos coach, Brad Donald. Spent the morning just chatting footy with those guys. Everyone knows chatting footy is my happy place, so that was quite good. Good morning spent. But coming up, mate, what have we got?
Yeah, mate. Absolutely. To answer your question there, Callum, our upcoming live events in 2022, we have got a huge start to the year coming up. So we've got next Wednesday, 16th of February, we have Georgie Gattis, Warrior number 128, will be joining us for a chat. Played for the Warriors in 2006 to 2007, also played for the Cowboys. Yep. We've heard lots of great funny stories about Georgie's time at the club, so we're interested to hear his right of reply to Grant Ravelli's comical yarns that went down end of last year. We'll have to make sure Ravs tunes in for that one.
Yep. Yes.
19th of February, we have the very first trial match between against the Storm, and we'll be doing a live watch party with that. So we'll be going live while we're watching that game, and special guests will be Apai from Hold the Ball as well. Wednesday, 23rd of February, we have our very special NRLW preview show.
Yep.
It's Wednesday, 23rd of February.
That'll coincide with the kickoff of that NRLW season on the 27th, which is a triple header up at Newcastle, which I will be going up for. I'm going to take our good mate Jay Harris with me. We're going to go watch some rugby league. And that preview show, we've got a couple of NRLW stars coming on to have a chat, trying to get one from each of the sides. We've got four of the sides lined up at the moment, just trying to get a player from the Roosters and a player from the Broncos. Once we have them all lined up, we'll announce who they are. Sorry, mate, didn't mean to interrupt. Go on.
No, that's okay. 26th of the 2nd, we have another trial match, and we'll be doing the exact same thing, a live watch party. So you can watch that on Facebook and on YouTube. There'll be the trial against the Titans, and our special guest that night will be our good friends Brad and Richie from the Standoff over in NZ. Always great to catch up with those guys. Wednesday, 2nd of March, we have our Warriors 2022 season preview. We're talking about all things the squad, the draw, and focusing on what should be a big season. And special guests for that, again, will be Brad and Richie from the Standoff. Wednesday, 9th of March. Geez, good day, that one. We have Cameron George, none other. Cameron George himself, none other, Warriors CEO, will be joining us to go on the eve of the season. Tell us how everything's tracking in Warrior Land. And Wednesday, 16th of March, we will have our round 1 review. So plenty to get through there. A busy start for 2022 for you from all things R and H.
Yes.
And of course, we will continue to make those connections with the former players to bring you more of those interviews that you guys clearly enjoy. We've made contact with a few ex-players, and we'll be announcing those as soon as we get things locked in. So stay tuned on social media, and we'll be letting you know when we have some more of those chats coming up.
Absolutely, we're gonna continue doing the live round review / preview show on the Wednesday night each week. That'll be a constant 7:30 on the Wednesday, and we're going to do the chats with the players on a Tuesday. But we're gonna scale it back a bit. We're just going to do one a month whilst the season goes on. There's so much happening. Our lives away from Roo and Hammer and stuff, and so we've got our first one locked in for the 29th of March, which will be Robbie Mears, former Warriors hooker,
Player of the Year in 2000.
Yes, yeah. So we've got Robbie Mears locked in to come on the show, which we will do an announcement post for in the next couple of weeks. And then, as Rob said, we've been speaking to guys like Logan Swan,
Henry Farfelli,
Louis Anderson, Farfelli, Ali Lauatiti, Jerry CCU, and the lunatic himself, Nat Wood.
Yes,
to come on. As to current Warriors players, Cody Nicarima, we've spoken to Cody, he's going to come on, and Adam Fanua-Blake. So hopefully we can get those guys on in the coming weeks as well. It'll be nice chats. We've also got some fan meetups organised between ourselves and Warrior Nation. Richie at Warrior Nation, Lisa Marie, who's pulling the reins up there in Queensland with Warrior Nation. And they can be found on our Linktree, and our Facebook events page. So round one, we've got a fan meetup at a place called Your Mate's Brew House, which is about a 15-minute walk from Sunshine Coast Stadium. It's going to kick off at 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 12th of March. And we're very fortunate to have Warriors legend, former Warriors captain, Warrior 121 Steve Price will be joining us at the brew house. And then coming along and sitting on the hill with us at the game. So make sure you get to the brew house, come and meet Pricey, hear some of his funny stories. He's a man that can talk. And he'll sit on the hill.
He can. He's a Sunny Coast local as well, just lives around the corner. So we're very fortunate, and you don't want to miss this. Like Steve Price, one of the greatest Warriors there has been. So
Absolutely.
Get keen. Yeah,
and then round 10, we've got round 10 locked away as well. Because it's such a busy time of year, we got this one locked in early for Magic Round. So last year we had a fan meetup at the Lord Alfred Hotel. We're going to do that again. It's kicking off at 12 p.m. on Saturday the 14th of May. We've got special guests, Warrior 76 Mark Tukey, Warrior 86 Kevin Campion, and Warrior 127 Grant Ravelli, all confirmed to be there for that one. So that'll be a good afternoon of fun and stories before we head off to watch. I think we play Souths at Magic Round.
We do. We play the Rabbitohs on the Saturday afternoon. So hopefully before we make some rabbit stew, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll keep advertising these as they happen. We're working closely with Warrior Nation, Rin Lisa at Warrior Nation to get this stuff happening. So the Gold Coast game at Seabus Stadium on the Saturday of round 2. It's very hard to organise something around Seabus because it's so far from any venue.
It's a bit difficult, unfortunately, but there'll be definitely something for round 1 and for round 10. But we're keen to meet all you guys. We'll be at all these games. So if you see us, come up and say g'day. And as Hammer said, we love nothing more than talking footy. So
absolutely. Round three, we're in the process of trying to set something up at. We play the Tigers at Campbelltown. So if we can set something up at West Leagues Club there, right on the field, next to the field, that'll be great. I think that's what we're going to try and look to do for that. So those Sydney fans, Sydney-based Warriors fans, get along to those games. And guys, get out there, get your memberships, please. The memberships are on sale through the Warriors website. $35, I think it is, for a fan membership. It's not much money to show your support of the club, and also too, if you want to get some merch, buy the club merchandise from the club direct. Don't go to any third-party suppliers. Always make sure you get it from the club. Or if
the proceeds go back to the club, you can get a 10% discount as well.
The last two years and going into this year, they're not getting the home games. They don't get the home sponsorships. They're not making money through their corporate partners. So every bit of money us fans can throw back into the club really, really. If you can get your merchandise from the club, that'd be good. And speaking of merch, we got some coming up, mate.
We do. We certainly do. We are working with our good mate at Torius Printing, and we are coming up with some merchandise that we will have available for sale through our page. You guys won't want to miss out on this, and we'll be testing the waters very soon, giving you a sneak preview of some of the t-shirts. But these hats will be for sale very soon. Snapback hats and t-shirts.
You'll have to keep an eye on our socials, because when we announce it, we're going to announce like a 3-day pre-sale window. And then obviously those who order through the pre-sale get the first lot of merch, and we'll see how that tracks, and if it's successful, then we'll release another lot of merch. But yeah, we're excited.
Absolutely.
We're still doing the Patreon. Roo Hammer is still on Patreon, which is our membership platform. Enables you, the followers, to follow us and show your support of the content that we produce by signing up for a monthly subscription. We still only have the basic tier set up and running now, which is, but we will be getting more tiers set up as we do our merchandise, because there's going to be exclusive Patreon-only merchandise that only Patreons will be able to get based on the different tier levels and budgets that we set up.
Yeah, that's right. So we're just once we have all the information, we'll be launching our separate tiers where you can get your hands on the exclusive Patreon-only merchandise. And the other merchandise we will have for sale for everyone as well.
Yep.
But keep an eye out on social media again. And at the moment, you can support us for $3 a month, which is next to nothing. It's a cup of coffee. That goes a long way to helping us give you the content that you have here with our streaming platforms, with the restream and licensing for that kind of thing, because there are costs involved in bringing the content to you as well. And we certainly appreciate all you guys that have already jumped on and supported us on Patreon. And as we said, keep an eye out on social media. We'll keep you guys informed on what we will have for offer very soon.
Yeah, we do want to give a shout out to those that have supported us on Patreon so far on the bronze tier, which is Daniel Delore, Peregrine Falconer, Sean Kurzweil, Nick McKercher, Mary Carter, Fabian Moroa, Ciala Afamasanga, Stevie Williams, Christian Catley, Alf Tuolave, TK Harris, Ted Clark, Ina Mete, Lisa Marie Bateman, Ken Wills, Nigel Phillips, and Kane Fraser. We thank you guys very, very much. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you sincerely. And don't forget, if you have missed any of our live shows, you can catch up on Facebook by going to our video section there, or you can go to YouTube channel and catch up there. So it's streamed directly to Facebook and YouTube every week. So don't worry if you miss it. It's always there for you guys to go back and watch. The easiest way to find our videos, though, is to head to our link tree, and I'll just put a link up there, as you can see on the screen there. As for Linktree, you can access everything that we've done through there. It has links to all of our social media sites and our live guest interviews, special presentations, anything we've done, really. And don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss any of our streamed content. It doesn't cost anything, and it really does help out the channel.
It does help out the channel. But with the Linktree, guys, if you go to the Linktree too, it has, as Rob said, it's got all our previous interviews. It's got our links to all our social media pages, links to all our podcast platforms, and it also has all our upcoming events. So, with the Georgie Gaddis one, you can click on that now. It'll take you to the page that we've got the George Gaddis event page, and you can, put a reminder in there to let you know when we go live next week. Speaking of coffee, what do Roo and Hammer order when they go to a cafe? Well,
you know my order by now, long black.
Yeah. Roo has his coffee, he has his men. He has a long black. And and I have, what do I drink? Dirty chai, which is a chai latte with a shot. So something's just come up on my screen and I can't see anything at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Am I still here? No.
You are still here. No, never fear. It's just a little glitch. Some of the
anything, mate. The whole screen.
Okay. Some of the gremlins that do creep into the system. It's part and parcel of doing a live show, but Yeah, look, guys, we just want to sincerely thank you, well, especially thank Warrior number 73 and former coach Ivan Cleary. What a champion and premiership winning coach, and he's a busy man, and we sincerely thank him for his time and coming on and chatting and all the funny stories and the memories. And look, as Warriors fans, as we both said, we'll never forget his contributions to the club. True legend, and yeah, again, sincerely from the bottom of our hearts, much appreciated for him giving up his time. And thank you all to all you guys who watch every week, who support us, give us encouragement to keep going. That's why we do it. It's a show by a couple of fans for the fans. This is the kind of content that we would want to watch, and that's why we do our best to try and bring you the best live content and interviews and chat and banter and all that stuff. So thank you very much, guys. It's going to be a huge 2022.
It is. If you see us out and about, if you see us at games, please come up and say hello. We're just two fans like everybody else, you know. Just want to mingle with the fans and you know, experience the game with everyone. This weekend, I'm going to be at the All-Stars game with our good mate Jay Harris. So I'll be there in the Māori supporter section, cheering on our Māori All-Stars. So good. Congratulations to our 4 NRL players that are representing their cultures. Josh Curran representing the Indigenous side, and then we've got Jazz Tavanga and Chanel Harris-Tavita in the Māori side, and Cody Nikarima, who's been named as co-captain of the Māori. So congratulations to Cody. And a couple of ex-Warriors running around in this game as well. We've got Paddy Herbert playing in the Māori side. We've got Jermaine Tanoa-Brown.
Aaron Clark.
And Aaron Clark. That's the other one in the Māori. So, yeah, so should be a good weekend. Footy starts this weekend. This is it. It's all official now. So pretty exciting.
It's back, baby.
It's back. Yeah.
But, thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Don't forget, we'll be live again. I think there'll be a time change because of daylight savings. We're going to try and keep the guest at 7:30. So I think Georgie lives up in Queensland. So it'll be 7:30 Queensland time, 8:30 New South Wales time next week's show.
So keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Go the Maldives.
Thanks, guys. Go the Warriors. See ya.
See ya, guys.